И первый раз я приехала в Припять, и
When I first came to Pripyat, the closest to the facility city, it was there were no animals, no birds, not a single human being, and all the buildings and everything was intact. And it seemed to me that a neutron bomb exploded that killed everything that was alive and just left everything that was not alive.
Natalia Manzurova was one of the hundreds of thousands of emergency workers sent to Chernobyl after a nuclear reactor exploded in 1986, and what is the worst nuclear accident of its kind to date. Although the recent meltdown at Japan's Daiichi nuclear plant has been compared to Chernobyl, the leaking radiation appears to be much lower. Still, Manzurova sees a parallel. She spoke through a translator at the Alliance for Nuclear Accountability here in Washington.
They don't know what to do with technologically. They have no means to stop these reactors from releasing discharges, from discharging radioactivity into the environment. And again, there are liquidators who are fighting this, and they live in the same very hard conditions.
Manzurova is especially sensitive to the plight of Daiichi's workers. After the Chernobyl explosion, she was sent by the then Soviet Union to clean up or liquidate the consequences of the explosion.
We had to bury everything that was above the ground. So there were three burial grounds, burial sites. One was for what was equipment from the power plant. The second site was for other equipment which was nearby, and then the third was for all the things that were inside the houses. We had to bury them all.
Despite such remediation efforts, radiation cannot be eradicated quickly.
The main impact from an environmental point of view will be the releases of the long-term radioisotopes that have a biological impact that can be significant. And the most important one is cesium-137, which has a half-life of 37 years, and strontium-90, which is 30 years. These will stay around for up to 300 years. That's 10 half-lives is a normal type thing. This is the isotope that has caused the exclusion zone around Chernobyl, for example.
Lake Barrett was an engineer with the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission during the partial meltdown at 3 Mile Island nuclear facilities in Pennsylvania in 1979. He says the recent accident in Fukushima is similar, although larger, to 3 Mile Island, and he's optimistic the environmental impact will also be minimal.
But the risks involved to the people in Japan or anywhere worldwide are much less than the risks we encounter every day in our lives. So I don't believe this is going to be, a health catastrophe or a health disaster. It's a huge economic disaster for the folks. I mean, this is a $10 billion plus electricity generating plant that produced clean, affordable energy.
Because radiation contamination stays in the environment for so long, and radiation exposure can lead to cancer and other health problems, opponents charge it is not a safe energy alternative. But Barrett says there are parts of the world where natural radiation levels are higher than that coming out of Fukushima.
If you work in the United States Capitol, which is a granite building, all right, you receive much more radiation than the average person in Japan will from Fukushima.
Barrett says society has a choice to make about nuclear energy, which is clean and non-carbon emitting. He says if you want to have things in modern society, you have to accept risks that go along with it. The United Nations estimates there have been between 4,000 and 9,000 cancer deaths in Ukraine and the surrounding area because of Chernobyl. But anti-nuclear groups such as Greenpeace say cancer deaths linked to Chernobyl are at least 10 times that number. Natalia Manzurova was just 35 when she arrived with 14 other scientists to Chernobyl in 1986. She had her thyroid removed due to cancer and is the only surviving member of her team. I'm VOA's Rebecca Ward for Going Green.